for the Wednesday night race. Here it is, race number 4, and starting my video from my special meditational rock. It's kind of a routine. Come over here, start out, do a little stretching. I am gonna just warm up. It is the 24-hour course tonight, so 12 point something miles, and very familiar route. Should be about the same as it was last year. So got perfect conditions, 74, 73 degrees, and light wind, some light cloud cover. And yeah, we'll see how many people turn out. So my plan is to not overextend myself tonight and just kind of pace into it, and we'll see how it goes. So stay tuned. I am backwards riding some of the course, ran into a few friends, so I stopped and don't have as much time to warm up, but that's all good. But instead, this is a section that last year we rode, and we also had this giant lake. So the main trail, you can see, comes swooping down this double track pretty much. Most people are going to take this line right down the middle and then veer suddenly to the left. But instead, I scoped it out last year and realized that there's a little secret. I just cleared pine cones so that I can take a straight shot through these trees and pick up that turn, and thereby avoiding a lot of slowdown to make that sharp detour, unless you want to go straight through the lake. So anywho, that's the goal. So I'll be coming down. This is towards the end of the race, and I'm going to veer left, aim between the trees. You're kind of aiming for that rock that's just beyond by the pond, so you kind of go right between them. So, post-race recap for the Wednesday night race number 4 in 2019 at Riverside State Park. And yeah, it went pretty well. I got out there. There was another good showing. So this is the Wednesday before the annual 24-hour race. So Memorial Day weekend every year has been, they've been doing this for 20 years. This is the 20th. I've not done that many times. I've been, let's see, the first year I did it was 2014. So 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. This will be my 6th time. So what is this? If you are watching this video and you're not familiar with the 24-hour race, these are typically mountain bike races, and it starts at, in the case of this one, 12 noon on Saturday and goes till 12 noon on Sunday. And your goal is to do as many laps as possible, all excuse me, around the clock. Now, there's different categories, and I'll go through that in a second. But so back on tonight's race. So the 24-hour course is usually set up the week before, and the Wednesday night series that's in the same area, they the same guys that mark the course out. And so for the Wednesday night race, they have the 24-hour course as our course, so we get to pre-ride it. And they change it just a little bit every year. Last year they actually changed it quite a bit, especially the second half. There used to be about 15 miles, and they shortened it a little bit last year, so it was about 13, give or take. And so yeah, that's what it was. We don't do 2 laps on this night because it's a longer course, so we just do a single lap. And my goal was just to go out there and to be steady and not blow out. This is, again, I have the race coming up this weekend, so just kind of wanted to spin strong and stay with the guys I've been riding with. So and all went according to plan, mostly. About a third of the way through the race, barely halfway, I had a small equipment failure, so to speak. So it started as this sound from my bike that anytime you're riding your bike and you notice a sound and you're in a race, that's always a little disconcerting. It's kind of a rattle, and at first I thought it might have been just a cable that had pushed against the frame a little bit and it's kind of rattling, but soon I realized that it was my water bottle cage. So I did a review on this, by the way. It's a very lightweight carbon water bottle cage. I actually love it quite a bit. I try to check, see if we can get focus back here. I'm in not the best of light. There we go. So I try to go through the bike before the race. I check the wheels are on tight, and I lube the chain. I check my air pressure. Sometimes check the shock pressures, but I don't typically do that every time. And let's see. Yeah, just kind of lube things up. Having been the one who's gone through the bike myself thoroughly, I don't check every bolt. And I did feel this, though. I kind of pushed and it felt rock solid. But for some reason, both screws loosened up, like I said, in the middle of the race. It was disconcerting. I had my water bottle in there, and this thing was rattling around. I thought, oh great, maybe it'll just rattle for a little while. Well, shortly thereafter, I heard this kind of clink in the bottom. Bolt fell out and gone on the trail. Of course, I didn't stop at that point. I kept going because I mean, it's literally like we were all in line with each other, the guys and a gal that we often race together. So. Being also that it's a 24-hour course, I have this thing practically memorized. I can do it in my sleep, and so I am pacing myself. I don't want to stop. So anyway, it started to, of course, with the water bottle in it. I finally, at the top of a section called Devil's Up, which is a little bit technical, short up and kind of steep, and then it kind of rolls for a little while, and there's a section called Devil's Down. And I stopped there at the top. I just finally quickly pulled over, pulled the bottle out, took a drink, and put the bottle in my jersey back pocket, and just kept going and hoping that the other bolt didn't fall out. Two things. One, of course, I didn't want this to fall into the bike and get hung up. I also didn't want to lose it. I would have stopped, of course, and picked it up. But other than the rattle, it was very distracting. And I also lost Mike with the group I was tracking with, so I ended up kind of by myself for a little while, trying to push forward, and I finally caught up to one of the guys who had fallen back a little bit, and so that was nice, because it's kind of nice not to be floating in the wind. It was funny, because I pulled up behind him, and he's a guy, we actually are tied for the series. We've been back and forth, neck and neck, and he's really strong in the sprint at the finish, so... Last week I was in front of him and I knew it, and we got to the last sprint to the finish line, and him and another guy got around me and they were just pushing ahead of me. This time I held behind him, and I know he's a stronger sprinter than I am. He's stronger actually overall, I think. So we're coming around the last few turns, and it's a long straightaway. And I locked out my rear shock because it's flat, and I thought, I'm just going to get on this and hammer behind him, and he took off. And it'd be fun if somebody had taken some video of that. Actually, the last couple of weeks I've been having sprint and ends to these races. Not my favorite, but it's good practice. So I ended up pulling up next to him, but he did cross the finish line just ahead of me. So we are still all but tied for the series. But anyway, a lot of guys were pushing faster up ahead. So I think we were both 5th and 6th tonight. So given the technical issue or the mechanical equipment's problem. So actually, now I'm back on this water bottle cage. Just note to myself. Actually, no, I don't think I put Loctite on these, and I should have. So upcoming race, real quick, I'll go through the 24-hour race, so I kind of already started. So some people do solo this, and then there are teams of varying sizes, and they have a lot of different categories. There are actually probably nearly 900 people registered to participate, which is, I think it's a record, at least since I've been doing it. Last year it had fallen off. Last couple of years it's fallen off quite a bit to where there was only maybe 350, under 400. So we're nearly double the number of participants. So it's going to be interesting to see. It's pretty exciting. They do what do they call it? A Lamaze start, where you line up, everybody's suited up, all the teams and the starters, and the gun goes off at 12 noon on this Saturday, and they make you run a, probably a little less than 200 meter up this little trail and kind of around and down. They just do that to kind of break the pack up. it does help a little bit. And of course, if you're in the back of the pack, it's a little bit of a mess. Luckily, this race does start on double track, but people hang out all over the start because there's just a really short kind of the gravel road, and then it turns and it banks, and then there's a climb. It's not super technical, but it's only double wide, and it's a little bit rocky, and it's like bananas on that. I have started this race twice for my team a few years back. Actually, and over my shoulder you see that I've strategically placed my medals. So we placed second for the last 3 years in a row, and I think 2015 we placed third. So the first experience with a 24-hour race I was on a corporate team of 10 people. Got really bored, but it was a cool introduction. So they have people who solo it, male and female. Then they have a duo, couples and two-person teams. And then there are age brackets for both 4-person teams and 5-person teams. And then it jumps to corporate, which could be up to 10 people. So there's all kinds of teams. I'm with a 5-man, and I'm also with our team Exo Keto. We have a corporate. We've done that the last 3 years as well. Anyway, so they give you a bottle of wine and a medal if you're in the top 3, and the first place they get a jersey. So it is highly unlikely that we're going to do any better than second again, given all the people registered. We may not even do that. My goal is to go out there and have fun this year. So I had to do so many laps last year that I was actually so spent that by the time it's over, you're just like, it's not even fun anymore. And we still got second though, so hey. Anyway, so this year we have North Division Bicycles in North Spokane that'll be set up with us as our sort of tech support, and having their own little advertising going on too. We also have had a local coffee roaster. The guy helps us and volunteers and usually brings out coffee. And I think I showed the jersey on one of my other videos. So we've got North Division on there and Mutu coffee roasters. And then my practice, Naturopathic Med, this year. So again, Team Exo Keto. And that was just my brainchild a few years back when I got into the ketogenic diet and the use of exogenous ketones for both physical performance and health. Anyway, we'll update you with video and the happenings this weekend at the 24-hour race, and I look forward to the next video with you all. Thanks for watching.